I want to welcome everyone to another edition of Guidance for the Soul Live. Sessions for All. This is what I'm going to call this because this is what was brought to me by my own heart, which is the idea that many times people are on the screen wondering, am I going to get read? Am I going to get some information? What's the skinny on what's going on with the internet? I keep hearing about the internet as such a bad place to be. But in essence, it can open us up to the nature of love of all, beyond all measure. How many of us are limited in our vision of who we hang out with on the screen or versus in person? I do in-person sessions. I do in-person vision questing with many people. But it's through the internet that I actually raised my vibration to a place of love of all. It is not the easiest thing to do. And I want to guide people into that place of love first and foremost before we rise into the nature of guidance, because it does take some time and effort for me to get into those places of wisdom that allow for your own souls to bring through those guidance. Some are very hesitant to open up to the nature of love, and that's okay. This doesn't mean that you have to be there in order to get your own wisdom. You could have anger in your heart and still receive loving guidance. It's not just about where you are. It's about the idea that we all are there. We just haven't reunited with all of us yet. Okay, some of us are in the field of vision of I want a strength in my soul to bring about the changes that I want to see in the world. That's a beautiful vision. For those of you that know that in essence some of those visions do need strength, others are of dignity. I want to be dignified in my vibration. I want you guys to understand the nature of love of all. This is where a lot of those visions of we honor each other's vision, whether or not we agree to disagree, right? It's like if we don't honor the fact that some of us are in higher fields of vision than others, understand why others can't hate others. Okay, that's a place where I come from. I have anger sometimes in my heart, but I never feel the vision of hatred anymore for the most part once I embodied my own soul. And that means the nature of love of all, honestly, because when you go to that vision, it means I love who I am and everyone who's brought me to this place of worship. That's someone else on the screen. I don't feel the need for worshipers to be aspecting who I am. So what I would say is, please understand that your own field of vision is just as strong, just as beautiful, no matter where you land on this plane. That's the wisdom of all of us. If you feel the need to worship, by all means, feel free to do that on your own. I myself would say do not worship all, right? It's more like there are so many people who say, I need to worship another as better than. And that's your field of vision of beauty. But I will say that my own vision for all of us has been the entire vision of going in, honoring who we are as loved ones, and saying, let me adore my own soul first and foremost. That's the nature of love of life, love of being, and love of all is where that starts to lead. So for those of you that are wondering, how do I get my messages? That's the way that I do it. So by not just saying I'm only going to hear from one field of vision, I get to open up to the nature of love of everybody. Whether or not I agree with them is of no consequence. Okay, so if you feel the vision of division when you read some of the messages or when you hear some of the words that come across the screen or in the field of vision of, it's like memory makers. I'm talking to those who are memory makers. So some people are now going to start receiving some of those words. It has been known before that most will not receive a field of vision of a whole soul session. This is for a variety of souls. So people are going to need to pick and choose and see which visions they actually want to align with. There's a privacy, it's like adoring the privacy for those who have not intended to have a soul session but are going to witness it as well. Some are here only to witness, to see the strength of it. Life and death for some souls on the screen. You are dealing with that vision of my life is in peril or my life is in danger. What I want you to see is how strong that vision can be. If the vision is, I need more guidance to help me, lift me up out of the vision of I am in peril or I am in danger. That's the nature of where many of us do indeed rise into the nature of fear of it. So that's the nature of loving ourselves through the fear of death or the potentials of life everlasting. It's like everlasting. When you are in that field of vision, you start to rise out of the fear of death. And then that reinforces the idea of I'm living every moment to its fullest. You don't need to fear the death now that many place upon us. If someone looks at us and says we look like death reuniting with others, see, others will assume that I am reuniting with those of death, but it's like the eternal validity of the soul. This is another reference to someone's beautiful vision of life. Okay? I don't need to validate people's hearts to understand that. We keep going. Where you want to land in the ever after is up to you. Do you feel the beauty of your heart coming to you every day? Do you feel the beauty of love coming to you every day? And if you are in the field of vision of I'm not hearing it as I would like to, then you must align with the vision of I love who I am, and I'm okay if others aren't in that field of vision with me. Okay, that's the nature where money will go. I want it to be of life, but my friends and family adore me in their minds, but I don't feel it on the soul, right? Some people will get those experiences of I'm not feeling the love as I would hope to from various fields of understanding. The moment has passed for many. I want my real deal of this life, not the ever after. But that is where many are creating with. They are creating with the field of vision of, I want to lift myself up for that vision of ever after. It is a guaranteed spot in the universal wisdom of love. Life is eternal. We just don't carry our bodies as well as others. That would be one field of vision. I'm not carrying my body through this field of vision as many would like me to. So what happens is that my life was judged by many as less than. Okay? And in that field of vision, I start to create the vision of dignity of who are you to tell me what my soul should be telling me? I would love to be laughed with, not at. How many people know the comedians of the world are very much online saying we often shield our pain through laughter. So for those of you who think that laughter is the best medicine, it absolutely can be, except when it is covering up the pain of past wounds. I give people a good time because it feels better to hear the words of wisdom coming through as love. My family tree was treating me with disrespect is where many are going. This is for certain souls. I was disrespected on the soul level as well. That's where those souls are that are going through the process of soul embodiment or enlightenment, as many would say. I lighten my field of vision and I disconnect from those who treat me bad. And those souls who say, I am definitely with this lady's vision. My family treated me horribly. My family is the one that is to blame. And yet, what we would say to you is they are there in their own vision of love on a different field of understanding, loving each other in the field of we grow through the pain of love, of life. Sometimes life is meant to be painful in our minds, and that's what we keep creating with. Does life hand me a bowl of cherries? That's another vision. Okay, cherries. How many people want to know what that vision does for people? We bring through the bounty of the feast for all of us. I love who I am. I don't need my tree to tell me who to be. That's another field of vision for most of us. But there are others who would say the reunification of their souls with their families and friends and loved ones. It's a bounding of love when you go to those higher fields of vision. So when you say to yourself, am I hearing from my family tree? And if so, what would they tell me on this plane? Many decide to do that work in the afterlife. Others are working with it right now, and we want to honor you for doing those words of wisdom in every single way that you do. Every single word of wisdom is honored through this year and the next. There are 2 people who know that this year and next year are beautiful for all of us. It is painful on a soul level for many due to the nature of the vibration of the internet and what has been happening. What we would say is to learn the lessons of love. We have to honor our pain, our struggles, and the decisions that we made that brought us to this field of vision. I am not a victim as of yet. Many are feeling like they are going to be a victim of it's like suicidal visions. Do not fear those visions as they come through. There are souls who have dealt with the feelings on various levels and with various sets of circumstances in their lives. You will rise out of those visions as something bad for the most part. It is sacrilegious in the aspect of God or of Christ to say those words. We're going to start calling it the vibration of love of love. When those fields of vision come through where they say, I do not want to vibrate with that word anymore, it is the nature of it. Most people understand that that is a triggering of many hearts. But it is the nature of clearing out the data that needs to be cleared out for some souls who have experienced that on another level of their life. Many people are going through the process of either I am so uncomfortable in my skin that I need to leave this plane. That's where some are. We would say, remember the beauty of your heart and your mind. It's just your mind that's telling you that there's something wrong with you. It's not anybody else for the most part that actually matters. For those of you that understand that and say, I do that work with others and I do tell people what I think about who they are. And that's your beauty. What you haven't realized is that is a reflection of who you are. But it's strong. And that's the thing. Your own soul comes through and says, it's okay to be angry at someone that you don't understand. Someone in this field of vision is very, very upset at so many people and saying, I hate who they are. I just can't tell them that. Those fields of vision are still opened up for all to see. We see you, is what your soul says. We hear you, is what the others say as well. When you go through this process of soul work, it's when you start to realize that you're creating with many who now understand why it can be difficult for their own hearts to come through. Do you want to be told that you are loved eternally, always, adored by many in your field of vision? I just can't make it to that level that others want. That's where a lot of people go. Your own soul is telling you, It's like the chipper one. There's another happy heart there. I love who I am. I feel good in my beauty, and I feel good in my wisdom. I give people readings is where another soul is. They want to honor you for doing that vision. You will be of readings at some point. You will be able to do the work of your love again. Because you see, in essence, whether or not we do the work on a professional or a soul level is a whole different field of vision. Guidance for a soul of a soul is a different field of vision than the other soul's vision that has been brought through in the name of God. Okay. Those who are in the field of God know that vision is of love. Others will say there is fear or anger behind that vision. Judgment. Am I worthy of that sin? That's where another soul is on this level. And I say, yay. She's going to talk about the praising of our hearts, because that's where the Jesus and Christ soul are both creating from. It is one and all. However, when you feel like Gina is another soul that is aligned with someone in this field of vision. So we want to give a shout out to someone who will know who that is and who that is for. Lock and loaded is another vision for someone who does not like the aspecting of energy of guns coming through on the screen. It will be announced to them as not to be angry about, but to be open to understanding what the energy blueprint of every single item is and where do we vibrate with it. If we are in love with who we are, by all means, just keep going with that vision. Realize that the majority of people want to know the name, number, and it's like the zip code of who they are. At some point, you will get your zip code brought to you. This is a soul that is in consideration of who am I going to be living with. This is another vision of soul work. You will get the zip code of someone that you are working with. Okay? Now, this is not the name of who I am, but this is about the beauty of all those souls who can start to come through and say, my lovely lady is on the screen. I'm having a good time in my field of vision. There is 20 to 30 souls who are starting to come through with the love of their lives. They are either in, it's like concert with them, or they are in the world of love. I don't feel it with my spouse. I don't feel it with my partner. I want to have more fun. I want to be out of the field of vision of guidance that doesn't feel good. How many people are feeling, I don't like the world as I see it? That's where you are. Some people are in the mood of, I don't participate in the world, and others are, I'm in the thick of it. Your own soul will say, believe it or not, you're getting your wisdom handed to you. You may not feel the direct connection with Jesus. This is someone else who wants to know, what does it feel like to embody that vision? What we want to really focus on, though, is the idea of how many spitting image of their mother comes across the screen. Someone is saying to themselves, I'm the spitting image of my mother. That's who you are. That's your vision. That's your guide. When you go to the soul level, you can often hear those visions of love that want to come across and say, I'm with you. I honor you. I know you had your issues with me in certain fields of vision, but we are creating together beautifully in various fields of understanding and love. Whether or not you deny it is up to you. I will not force my vision. It's like the vision and the wisdom onto another soul. I tried to tell you not to do what you were doing in your life. I tried to tell you that you were loved, but you were not adored. How many souls know I don't show my feelings to my family? I loved you no matter what. I gave you banana bread. That's another field of vision. Banana bread. There's someone there that is honoring of that love of banana bread. Now, Jean, and it's like Jean, and it's like there's another soul there. How many people know that vision? I'm creating with so many souls at this point that want to have their hearts handed to them. And I don't want to let anybody down. But you're rocking and rolling in the world of guidance. Take heart of the music that you listen to. If you are in that world of I rock and roll, or I give it all no matter what, there are lost hearts here who are saying, I feel devastation in my being, and I want to be told that I'm lifted up by my own heart. Guidance is what you need. Love is always there. It's like winter wonderland. Wait until the winter wonderland vision comes through for you. It's going to feel better in the winter time. It's like this is the hot part of the year. It's starting to get hot and muggy. And people are saying, oh my gosh, thank goodness she understands. You see, it's going to feel better in that winter wonderland. When everyone can open up their hearts again to the love of each other and say to each other, I adore my winter wonderland. Those of you who are in that vision of I feel better in the cooler temperatures, it's going to be beautiful for you in the winter. Do not despair. Your family trees will unite in various fields of vision. We often struggle with those family get-togethers. They didn't make me so happy until I could open up to the nature of love of all and accept them for who they were on this field. There are people who are saying their family trees don't get along during the holidays. Others are saying, I adore my family, I just don't get enough of them. Some people are wanting more time with their family. Others are saying, I hate my family. I hate my family. That's where someone on the screen is going to be landing. I miss my family. I adore them. I miss them. If you are in that place of I need to reach out to my family, please pick up the phone or honor the vision of internet. They want to hear the phone more and not so much the email or the text. That's what someone is being told. Please pick up the phone. Call your family. Don't just text. Okay, it's a connection of the voices. The energy is so much more beautiful when you do that vision. You hear the tones, you hear the wisdom. It's not to demean those who are texting. Please do not despair over that. It's not a guilt or shame. It's an honest assessment from your soul to just remember to hear the mother and the father. And it's like there's the mother, the father, and someone else is saying the Holy Ghost. So I have those visions coming through for somebody who is not in my field of vision necessarily. I want to honor you as you are. That's what they're saying. I want to honor you as you are. This is not about guilting anybody or shame. We don't guilt or shame anybody on the soul level for the most part. It can come through that way, but it's meant to be an adoration of, I wish I would have called my mother more. I love my family is where most of us go in certain fields of vision. We can learn those lessons of hatred very easily from them. Some will say I had to leave my family in order to be loved. When you go to the soul level, it's like unwound and it's like it comes out as if it's a general reading, but it's going to ring home for certain souls that are definitely in the field of vision of I want my own soul. What you have to understand is if you are in a place in your life where you are struggling to hear the beauty of who you are, and you feel like I need to hear it from somebody else, I'm giving you the strength to attach to another soul, by the way. You see, many will go out looking for the love that they themselves don't feel for their own hearts. So we look outside of ourselves for the field of vision of love that validates the beauty of who we are or who we think we are. We are more than who we are here. That's a different episode. But for you, we would say, remember always to go in and validate the beauty of your own soul's wisdom of I am creating love every time I take a breath. When I take a breath, that's a sign that I love who I am. That's a beautiful vision that it was brought to me in the past. It's another source of wisdom. Honor it. I'm breathing. I am of love. I am breathing every breath of my own soul. And that vision is of love for all. Gandhi was brought through for 20 or 30 people at some point. That vision is being demeaned on this plane, but on a higher level, that vision is also being held accountable for his sins. These are the various realms that people try to create with. His sin was not sin. He's aligned with the love of all. Those visions start to kind of vibrate out of the idea that there's something wrong with us here. We learn and we grow. We expand our awareness. Our consciousness expands. This is for those souls that know how to do that work. Y'all know who that is. Marriage and divorce. Okay, these are those silent killers in some people's minds. Other people will say the stress can kill us. I had to do that work. I had to do that work. I had to divorce. And yet I'm being held accountable by others in my family. I wipe the slate clean for all. That's where Jesus goes. We don't have to pretend that we ourselves create these situations where I attract people into my life who honor the vision of I am of soul. I learn, I love, I forgive is another vision. We are not telling anybody that they have to forgive anybody at this moment. Many are still in the field of vision of I need to have that hatred or that anger in order to spur me into another field of vision. That's what that anger can do. It can get you going again and say, I need to get out of this situation. It's not for me. Pay attention to your bodies, people. It's going to be a big day for many. Open up to the nature of when I breathe and I love myself, that's going to get me on my way. Breathing and love. I open it up for you. So that's the nature of where most people are kind of struggling, is they don't even realize that when they just live in the moment and breathe in the moment, they can feel the vision of their own soul. You are all connected. You just don't feel it as such yet. That's all. We're all there. We're all there vibrating in the beauty of it. We just don't know it. Now, for you to bring in various aspects of your own heart, we would say, let the good times roll. That's where we're going to start to wind this down a little bit. There is someone there who's very much about having a good time. Rock and roll, enjoy your vision, love yourself. Take care of your hearts. Listen to the music that lifts you up. People are not vibrating in the music that actually lifts them up in a lot of ways. It doesn't have to be church music. It can be. But it's more like what gets you going. What makes you want to rock out, right? There's someone there that's literally about the rock energy. And we would say that's going to be an honoring of your heart as well. Lost Hills. Okay, this is another field of vision for someone on the screen. I was lost. There's another, it's like another person in my heart who is feeling lost. It is not to be of despair, but you are feeling despair. It's that despair of I can't breathe. You had that energy of I can't breathe. I'm under panic or I can't breathe. That's the soul of COVID. Right? It's the soul of COVID. They are in that field of vision. I'm giving you the beauty of light. If you have gone through that vision that I could not breathe, that's the nature of what love was like. Cherish your breath. Cherish your breath. It's beautiful. It's the beauty of breathing. Those souls who had to go through that pain in order to realize that the beauty of our breath was forevermore granted to all of us. You see, we clear out COVID for those who went to that plane of, I'm of soul. I know how to do my work. There is someone here who also knows how to avoid the vision of I am not sick. They may have thought they would have done the work of I don't need to feel COVID, and yet they came down with it. Do you see why many are still in the field of vision of my mindset is not always the only, it's like dignifier of how I'm to experience this world. Most do not realize that their souls are creating with others, and you are here to experience something. It's a humbling nature to think we all know what's going to happen to us, or to think that we've got it all figured out. And then we experience the illness of all illness, right? It's not, it was just one step in a journey for many. It's the beauty of who we are. So for those of you who experienced COVID and had the experience of I am not of breath as much as I am of sickness, we want to say, let the good times roll. It's time to let that vision start to wind its way out of our field of vision. For those of us who know how to clear out other souls, I'm just telling you, I can feel it in someone's vibration. And it's not a warning as much as it is. It's like a guide telling people, don't just assume you know everything because you've connected with your own heart once or twice a week. You need to feel the beauty of your soul always, and that's what an embodiment vision does. You don't ever leave your soul's vision behind. Okay. Most are saying, but I don't know about my soul. Do not dignify that vision with anything other than, please don't assume that your soul is any less than anyone else. We have beautiful words of wisdom from many guides, but honestly, your soul, no matter what state of being it is in, is vibrating in the beauty of who you are. And it's like the danger zone for some. They say, oh no, I need to be rescued by somebody else. Whatever words of wisdom lift you up, by all means, adore it. Embody those visions of I am connecting with these higher levels of wisdom or sources of wisdom. There's not levels. People are assuming it's a level. These are the fields of vision of consciousness and like and attraction. This is why soul will it's like awful it's awful beginnings for someone. Someone's saying this is an awful beginning for a direct soul connection. I want my mother and my father to come through directly, tell me I'm forgiven. To forgive them, I need them to forgive me. That's the words of wisdom for someone directly. You are not needing to be forgiven as much as what you think you are. This is words of wisdom. It can help carry you through the vision of love, as I know I don't need to be forgiven. It was granted to me immediately. That's what happens when we cross. Others will create a field of vision of I need to sit in the wisdom of somebody else, take in the words of love, and open my heart to the nature of who I thought I was. It's a review process for many. Do not fear it. It is granted as love. So, for those of you who wish to have more information brought, I will be doing more of these sessions. Someone is very high in their vibration coming through with love for that, because they know that that vision is of sickness, and it's not sickness, but their heart is like beating twice as fast than what it normally does. I am forgiven. Your heartbeat is just fine. We're going to tell you how to unwind the field of I don't feel right with Brenda in my heart right now. That's okay. It's okay. If you're not connecting with me in the mindset, I love you anyways. Granted, our souls connect in many different fields of vision. Do not expect me to save you as a guide would. You're expecting to be saved by somebody, and we say you align with it, as I can empower my own heart to remember the beautiful beating of my heart. Slow your breaths down, people. Slowly start to let out the anger or the hatred or the discontent. Find discontent a better vibration than hatred. Moments of silence. I'm honoring your hearts. You feel as if your vibration is of less than. It's no such thing. We just haven't cleared out a lot of the anger that we hold on to. I keep creating anger when I go on the screen. That's where some people go. I feel the anger of others when I look around me. And then I take it in and I honor it as less than me. Versus, I am who I say I am. That vision of anger coming in is what is needed to get me out of that source of wisdom that doesn't feel right for me. I don't have to feel the anger. I build up walls of protection around me. And in that vision, we start to understand why we might be bringing in more of that wisdom of anger if we're trying to protect ourselves from it. I'm the lone wolf. How many of us are trying to create with others from the field of vision of I need protecting from you? Why am I not granting you soul birth for someone right now? If you're in the understanding of universal love and wisdom, you will never shut down your heart. You open yourselves up to the horrors of life in your own ways. You feel the pain, the anger, the heart. It's like heart-wrenching grief. And you lift yourselves into a place of, I was with my mother through all of it. There is a soul of a soul of a soul who says that mothers are the greatest bearers of wisdom for many. They taught me much about who I thought I was. We can see the reflections in our minds. We can see the fields of visions of those who honor their hearts and their dignity in doing the work by living in this pain and discomfort. I am learning a lesson of love by embodying the vision of my life is not of struggle. That's a field of vision of remembering I don't have to keep creating struggle. I can free myself from struggle. I can honor the struggle. I can earn my right of soul by living in the field of struggle. And then I can lift myself slowly out of the field of victimhood and say, I honor my heart. I honor those around me. And I wish you the best for all eternity. These are those souls that are eternal, coming through, saying you will always be adored, always be honored, always be cherished. What you want versus what you create is a whole different story. And that's why we have to look at how many of us have shut ourselves off from the universal wisdom or from those of love abounding around us. Look around. How many people are actually loving everybody versus how many have love in their hearts? How many people know how to love everybody? How many people are actually hurting others? Most are in their own love of self. When you love yourself, you show up every day. That's the beauty of love of self. I'm here, I'm vibrating, and I'm creating beauty. Whether or not I like it is a different story, but you love yourself. You don't honor it as such. Can you see the beauty of painful memories coming back to you to highlight? Sometimes they get brought to us in our wisdom, and we have to re-experience the pain in order to free ourselves from it. Most of us are still holding on to attachments of memories. Oh boy. Remember the good times. Don't focus on the negative. So many people are focusing on the negative. If you're growing through it, beautiful. If it's there and it says, I'm coming at you, that's the nature of many. I'm coming at you. I'm going to be angry. I don't want to remember my past. I grow. I'm told not to focus on it. You don't focus on the past. What you do is you live in the moment as much as possible. Focus on the beauty of creating from a place of discontent. That's where people are. They're discontent, and yet they blow it out of proportion. I am so angry at the internet for showing me the things that I want to see because I keep going on and looking at the things that I want to see. And what does it show me about who I am? Who am I? I'm all that, right? And more. If you can align with the vision of I love who I see on the internet, you're pretty good. That's your biggest growth point for most. Don't disconnect from those that you don't like. Honor it and grow from it, right? Not if you're getting hit in the head, right? People are getting hit by a lot of this self-love stuff that doesn't feel good for them. Your soul may have a different vision. This is not for everybody. Some people are meant to do that work. Others need to get the heck out of Dodge. They're not in the right field of vision. They're not in the right city or the right state. A lot of people are leaving It doesn't feel right. I'm aligning with my mindset. Am I creating a place of comfort? Am I creating a division? Or am I aligning with those who make me feel good? Alignment is a big deal in the spiritual enlightenment field. It's not to be, it's like undone. But it's part of the process of figuring that out. Can I align with anybody? No, you don't want to. Trust me. But does it mean that you close yourself off from the vibration of I love them, I just don't have to be around them? That's where a lot of people are going. But if you can find it in your hearts to understand why so many people are leaving this plane, they're not enjoying themselves because they're being forced to bear witness to these souls of souls. Okay, this is going to resonate for someone. I'm bearing witness for someone's life who's saying, I'm being forced to stay in this relationship because that was what was told to me. And now I create from a place of worship. You may find a healthier vision from a different source. We're going to talk about someone else's health at some point, but right now, it's about time we're going to wind this session down. Lives lost are being honored. For those of us who have felt the vision of I've lived my life, I've lost out on a lot of life. There's no losing of life. What you do is you embrace it and you move on. You honor the field of I am and you keep going. That's the best wisdom for a lot of us who are still in that mindset of I'm not done yet. I haven't finished this race. That's where we go. So with that in mind, I want to say thank you for watching. As always, be blessed in your visions of prayers, people. I have a lot of people who are of prayers, even though I myself don't necessarily participate in that in the way that many people would understand. So I would say, may us be blessed with peace, prosperity, health, and love. It is a vision for all of us. Whatever vision of love guides you to your strength, because that's what we need. Strength. All of us are in this field of I am lost. I am lost. You are found, right? That's one of those visions for those of you that know it. Those lessons are not to be abandoned just because they may not resonate with everybody. But it's that nature of finding ourselves again. That's where a lot of us are going. I'm finding more of who I am. And that feels good. So I want to say thank you again. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. It's like cheerful if at all possible. I was kind of on the downswing. Someone else was on the downswing. And we're saying, open up your field of vision to, I've got it all figured out. That's a good place to be. Take care.